Yeah, it's only getting greater from here. You dig? First of all, I want to say I want this particular episode to go out to my brother, my dear brother, my dear cousin. You know what I'm saying? They looking over me right now, looking over us, and everybody that lost a loved one, out here in these streets. You know what I mean? In these communities, in these neighborhoods. That's not, suitable, for living. How you feel about that, Mr. Flowers?
Well, big shout out to the big homies upstairs.
Yes, sir.
Your loved ones. Mental health is a major thing, especially in our society, in our community. And so we want to just touch some topics tonight. We want to bring, shed some light on some serious topics pertaining to mental health. And so, with that being said, I'll let you do the honors.
I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. I want to say first of all, y'all thought that we was gonna be singing and dancing. You know what I mean? They thought we was gonna tap dancing and doing all this here, or doing pranks and getting drunk, sloppy drunk on the podcast. But no, we bringing the real issues to your doorstep. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of things that in our community that's not getting addressed. And we want to get up there and talk about all this hip hop, which is cool. Ain't nothing wrong with hip hop. Ain't nothing wrong with, what I'm saying, what's going on in that world. But the real world and the real situation is when y'all go out and y'all go about, y'all stepping over brothers that's laying in the street.
Yeah, that's a major concern because most of your metropolis areas have a overflow of homelessness. And have, not just homelessness. You got people, you got people sleeping in their cars. You got people sleeping on people's couches. You got people, we're not going to even talk about the people that sleeping on couches. Yeah, though they're in a building, that has four walls, they're still homeless. And yeah, you might be helping them out, but what's the use of you helping them out if all you're going to do is talk about it? And so, that's not really helping them. That's actually hindering them. If you just gonna hold your hand out, but at the same time, snatch. Remember that game we used to play back in the day, Snatch Cat?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Basically, all you just doing is playing Snatch Cat with that young man or that young lady. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, here's some food. I'll take it back. Here's a couch. Nope. Take Snatch Cat. I take it back. You know what I'm saying? So at this day and age, especially in today's society where we are at a precipice of a recession, we're actually already in recession, even though they're telling you we're not.
Right.
And I just heard on the news today, especially here in Miami, they're finna start raising the property taxes. And so they're finna start raising property taxes. They're finna start, doing a whole, again, like I told you last week, they're actually getting ready to start eroding the middle class.
Okay, yeah.
And so you're gonna have the top 2%, and you're gonna have the poverty stricken. There is not gonna be any more to do, well off to do. You're either gonna be in one or two classes. So which class do you want to be in? Which one do you want to participate in?
That's definitely that's an eye opener right there. What is mental illness? You know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know what mental illness is, or they don't know what can be classified as mental illness. You know what I mean? So I just want to, I got to give a couple, descriptions of, what is mental illness. We're gonna start with one of the lighter ones, first of all, and that's depression. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that, depression is a mental illness. You know what I'm saying? You kind of ill when you can't, get up, or you sick mentally, and you can't operate, or you can't work your job, or you can't do nothing because you stuck in a zone where you either don't, care about yourself, don't love yourself, or you care about what other people think about you too much, or you just can't even, figure out, your next move. You know what I mean? You that stuck in it, and you can't even move.
Right, and that's a reason why every time you go to the doctor, anytime you go to any type of facility that's going to for assistance, that's the reason why one of the first questions that they ask you is, have you ever thought about killing yourself?
Right.
And so yes, depression is very, 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 very large in our community, and very large in technical. Hey, keep it going, Mr. Flower. Oh, I gotta get the mic right. Okay, mic fell off. That's all right. We get it together, y'all. Oh, you might want to hit pause. It's live, baby. Ain't no pause. It's live. We're gonna get it right. Testing. But yeah, so in spite, anytime you start trying to do something right, something always gonna go wrong. And some people will say that's the devil, but me personally, I don't believe in that. You don't believe in the devil? I don't. Okay. I do that. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. I'm telling you. Oh, what? Get it? Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Hey, this streaming thing is new to us, so we having some technical difficulties right there, but we finna get it up. So if this funny to you, then go ahead and laugh and be, do your thing. We finna get this thing right. Hold on for a second, I got you, good friend. Talking to it, he ain't gonna move today. Yes, sir.
All right, we good to go, party people.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I was saying, anytime you start trying to do something positive,
keep it going.
That negative energy is always gonna show its face. Like I said, personally, I don't believe in the devil, but hey, we're not gonna get into that tonight. But yeah, that doggone that depression is something serious. We've all went through it, whether it's been, something major or something slight. We've all had, instances where, we didn't feel like doing certain things. Somebody might have said something on our job. Somebody might have said something in our house that made us just not want to do whatever it is. You can say, hey, it just, quote unquote, pissed me off, or, whatever have you. But anytime something is said to you or done to you that makes you give up, then that is a form of depression. And so we just want to touch bases on, depression. And again, like I said, we're going to touch some bases on some other topics tonight. But that depression is something serious. Now, for say, me personally, being overseas in the military, going through some of the, woes that I've gone through in my life. I've actually gone through, depression from time to time. Even though you might see me with a smile on my face the majority of the time, or in a bubbly demeanor the most of the time. We all have, especially myself, have faked the funk, feeling a certain kind of way, but gotta go put that other face on for the people, and so I'm sure I'm not by myself. And again, like I said, I do know for a fact that, our community, because we don't go talk to therapists, because we don't go and, hash those things out, and we as a people from a whole, we just like to surround ourselves with people who have like-minded or the same perspectives as us. And then, of course, anybody that comes by and challenge that perspective, we push them away, because we want to. We're a type of people who likes to be right. You know what I'm saying? We're a group of people who like to be, coddled. And so as long as somebody's stroking our ego, and as long as somebody's stroking, our comfort level, we would prefer to be with them versus being with somebody that's going to tell us the truth.
Yeah. And I just want to tell the people that's a extremely good point you just made there, Mr. Flowers. A lot of people don't think like that. So, I'm definitely so glad that you're bringing that aspect to the table. And I also want to let the people out there know, we done had some technical difficulties, you know what I mean? Things don't always go like my mom would say, the devil, you know what I'm saying? The devil don't want you to do this, but we're going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you every show is going to get better and better. So we're going to I'm going to tweak a couple of little things in here while we at it. But at the same time, the issue, because it's a real issue. So sometimes the universe is getting in the way, but we're going to move the universe in the way we want it. The issue is about mental illness tonight. You know what I mean? And the first thing that happened is the old camera got to acting crazy and the microphone got to breaking off. Man, we finna get busy.
Oh, yeah, we about to.
All right. So first of all, you know what I'm saying? Like we were saying, depression. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know they suffer from mental illness just with depression. You know what I mean? And the first resolution a lot of times will be, why don't you go get some pills? You know what I mean? Why don't you go get some medicine? You want to speak on that?
Well, I mean, it starts, a lot of times it starts with our kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they say our kids are too active. So they go give them, they say they ate, what they call it, ADD or one of those type of diagnoses. And they start off by giving your kids all these pills to calm them down. Ritalin and all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people don't know that Beethoven was actually diagnosed. They tried to give him Ritalin.
I know that.
And Beethoven refused to take the Ritalin. And so now you have all these beautiful pieces from Beethoven.
Yeah.
But they tried to give Beethoven Ritalin.
And piggybacking off of that, because that's exactly what the title means. You know what I mean? Mental illness. Is it a gift or is it a curse? Because there's a lot of geniuses out there in our neighborhoods. There's a lot of people out there in our neighborhoods that is geniuses. So smart, so intelligent, you understand me? But they can't get it together and do the simple things. You know what I'm saying? So one brother that I mentor here in Miami, he came to me and told me, he's struggling with the mental illness. He said he mustered up enough sense at the time to be like, I just want to say common sense just ain't that common. And he walked off. And I was like, common sense just ain't that common. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So basically what he's saying is he struggled with just the common sense. Just somebody be like, man, you should already know how to do that, or you should already be doing that anyway. But some people can't put it together like that. You feel me?
Well, when it comes to what I've come to realize is that some people brain. Of course, we only use the right side of our brain. Is it the left or the right? It's one of them. We only use one side.
Right.
And so once you start to utilize pieces of the other side, and some of us are gifted enough to be able to utilize or cross, and so those type of people, the Kanyes and the people that we call geniuses, in the past and present, they're able to their brain sparks quickly.
Right.
And so those people, we start trying to, that we as a society, not just as a culture, but as a society, we start calling those people crazy.
Okay.
Because they do things that we're not programmed.
Right.
Which is a whole nother, we're not programmed to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because most of the things that we do as an individual, we've learned or saw somewhere. We've seen it.
Right.
Or we was taught it by somebody else.
Right.
Those are most of the things that we do. Now, yourself, your brain might work completely different than mine, and vice versa. But because you're different, or because your brain processes things on a more rapid basis than mine, per se.
Right.
Who am I to say, you know what, we need to get this young man some medicine. We need to put him on some pills. And that's what they're doing to us, because they already know that we as a culture were the ones that brought, astrology, math, science, all that other stuff. So, that's just, I know that's kind of left field, but I just kind of want to throw that out there.
No, that's real, and we definitely gonna get into that, because now we gonna shift. So we just touched on, we're gonna touch on each one of the mental illnesses. So we touched on the depression, just real lightly. We're gonna double back on that, but now I want to touch on paranoid schizophrenia, which I feel like it's one of the most dangerous of the mental illnesses.
Why you say it's the most dangerous?
Right. First of all, I want to say, let me give some of the symptoms first, that you should be looking out for a person that is suffering with. Because a lot of times people don't know. They just be like, man, they crazy, or man, they crazy. Hey, I want you to understand something. When somebody, this is what they call self-involved. When somebody is talking to themselves, right? And having a whole conversation with themselves. So, drop something in the comments if you ever seen somebody you ever been around somebody that was straight just having a whole conversation to themselves. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but we gonna get into the questions of that, but is they really having a conversation with somebody? You feel what I'm saying? That's what I had came to question at times. Like, man, is they really talking to somebody that I can't see? You feel me? Is they really done touched into a whole nother dimension that I can't see, because our brains only operate just a little bit?
Well, I have a dear aunt who was diagnosed with quote unquote schizophrenia, and so I can honestly sit here and tell you, based on the conversations and I'm talking about, she used to be hilarious.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Lil T, we call her Lil T. Okay. T was, of course, being from the South, we call, all our aunties Big T, Lil T, T, whatever. So Lil T was, she was the funny sister.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Always cracking jokes, always what the case is. But I remember her saying years ago that even when she was a little girl, she used to be able to see people in the house.
Right.
Or she would have conversations with quote unquote dead people, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? And you still hear people to this day that say, I talked to such and such in my dreams.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case is. That, to me, I don't see that as a negative.
Okay.
I see it as her being able to be on a whole nother plane or dimension, and be able to see, as you said, see things and do things and operate in a whole nother realm.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I simply do. I say that simply because we all have had instances, and some people say it's the Holy Spirit. Some people say it's, whatever whatever you deem it to be from your different religious perspective. God or my brother or my cousin or my uncle or my friend or whomever. Right. You know what I'm saying? Some of us have said at one time or another in our lifetime, I spoke with such and such in my dream. I spoke with such and such sitting on my bed, such and such, whatever the case is. So if you can do it in an instance, one time or two times or however many times, why can't these people do it on a consistent basis?
Got you. We're going to touch back on that. Now we got paranoid schizophrenia. And by the way, I want to let y'all know y'all can call in live. I know we don't have a lot of people right now, but if you happen to, stumble upon this, give us a call in. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have some guests and all that soon, but it's about touching them real topics. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just shucking and jiving. We ain't just trying to look cute. You know what I mean? We trying to really touch some souls. We trying to really say something inside of this 2.4 megahertz, you know what I'm saying, that it might hit you in some type of way. So please believe that. You dig what I'm talking about? And things. So
before you move on now, I don't hold that thought. But before you move on, we as humans, we talk to ourselves all the time.
True.
True. And I heard somebody say this on some time ago, and I can't remember how long ago it was. But speak to without moving your mouth.
Okay.
I want you to scream.
I just felt some just thinking that's some hypnotism right there.
But you know what? You can hear it in your own head. Like if you sit there and scream, you can literally hear it. But can't nobody else hear it.
That's hypnotism. So I want y'all out there right now to scream, but don't scream out loud with your mouth. And see if you feel something. That just confused me right there. That's a cold technique. Man, that's deep. So we got depression, okay, and whoever just checked in, y'all checking in, we talking about mental illnesses right now, and we're gonna get deep into how it's affecting our community. We're gonna get real deep, so hold tight. Don't just stop with the attention deficit disorder, you know what I'm saying, and stick to the program so you can hear something, because you might hear something that might really help you or help a brother and sister or help somebody in your family that you see is slipping off onto that side. So stay tuned. So we got depression, we got paranoid schizophrenia, we got mania. A lot of people don't know what mania is. You know what I'm saying? Just somebody that is always moving way too fast. Always got an explanation. Can't never listen. Just doing whatever they want to, speed and just on a whole nother page. You got manic people out there. You feel what I'm saying? That's a whole mental illness. You ever heard about that?
Well, I've heard the term, but I've never heard of it as an illness. And just your explanation of it, I can honestly say I don't see that as an illness.
Okay.
And again, that's because I firmly believe, no two people are alike.
Facts.
And so his brain might be stimulating, and sparking a whole lot more faster than ours is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so his gas pedal is just a little bit, his or her gas pedal is just a little bit more quicker than ours.
Right.
They're driving the Porsche and we're driving the doggone Hyundai.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Dig that.
And so blessing or curse, I don't see that particular thing as a curse. I think that's a society issue, because you got people that's moving, select people that's moving faster than everybody else.
Okay. You got that. That's your opinion. We got that. We got that one. All right. So we have manic or mania. Then we have ADHD, which is a newer mental illness that just was kind of like brung to the light in the 1980s, somewhere around here.
That's attention deficit
this or hyper attention. We should have studied, but we know what ADH is.
You know, I was actually diagnosed with that.
You and a whole millions and millions of others.
And I was literally in my early 30s.
Yeah.
Right around 30-ish.
Right.
And I was in massage, you know, I'm a licensed massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I was in massage school.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my instructors, you know, diagnosed it, you know, who was, you know, a clinical doctor. He actually diagnosed it, and I actually had to take the test and all that stuff. And so how he brought it to me was, I would literally be in class and he would be teaching, and I'm one of those type of people, if you tell me one time, I got it. I don't need you to freaking, you know, keep it. And that's what teachers do. They keep repeating themselves over and over and over again in different ways to make sure that everybody grasps the information.
Okay.
But if you tell it to me one time, I got it.
Right.
So the 2, 3, 4 other different times, I'm out the window. You know,
okay.
I'm disrupting. I'm doing whatever the case is, because why can't everybody get it the first time like I do?
Okay.
That was my train of thought.
Gotcha.
And so, he actually, you know, called it out. He was like, Mr. And he was like, how do you not pay attention in class, but you passing all the tests? Are you cheating? I said, no, I'm not cheating. I said, you told me that 2 hours ago.
Right.
You know? But you got to keep going. I said, I understand what you got to do, because as an instructor, you got to make sure everybody grasps the information. But,
right,
you know, I got it. So either let me go and do my thing, or, you know what I'm saying? Or just, you know, let me do me.
So at 30 years old, you was misdiagnosed with ADHD.
You can, yeah, I wouldn't say misdiagnosed. That was the diagnosis, because I literally had to take the test, and then of course I was, you know, diagnosed.
Yeah.
I never took any pills and refused to. I'm a herbalist. So I refuse to take medicinal medicine.
Right.
And so, yes, I was diagnosed at 30 years old.
But this is a classification that they just made up. So, you know, we're going to get a little bit more deeper into that, because it's like, you know, maybe you were understimulated in your learning environment.
And I've always been that way.
You feel me?
Because soon as they quote unquote diagnosed me with it, I called my grandmother who raised me, and I was like, all them ass whoopings you gave me growing up, is because I was this. And she was like, you were still disrupting class, wasn't you? I was like, yes. She's like, so you deserve them ass. Right.
See, somebody like you probably most likely needed a environment, you know, like a Montessori or something, where you was hands-on, where you was learning, and it was a physical, because you might learn your learning techniques or style may be hand-to-eye coordination, versus letting somebody just tell you the same thing over and over again. You like, man, this is not stimulating certain parts of your brain. You feel me?
Right.
But they'll shove the medicine on you, like, here, this for you to focus, and give you some AKA speed to slow you down.
Right.
We gonna touch on that. But anyway, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, because I'm gonna share some too. Now we gonna go to sociopaths.
Okay.
Sociopaths is a mental illness, and a sociopath. And I didn't get a chance to get the exact, you know, definition, but this is someone that, you know, is more of a narcissistic type individual. This is someone that so you can kind of find out about sociopath when you look at someone that is a compulsive liar. If you know somebody that's a compulsive liar, if you know somebody that's a compulsive gambler, if you know someone that is, you know, maybe have some serious behavioral problems. I'm talking about grown men when it comes to, like, you know what I mean, like just lashing out, or, you know what I'm saying, or sometimes, you know what I mean, AKA like, you know, pimps, or like players, or, you know what I mean, a lot of these politicians is real life sociopaths because they'll do whatever to get a result. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yes.
They'll play, they'll play around, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, and it's crazy. I think we got a call. We're gonna go to a call in right now. Let me see what's going on here. Hey, what's going on with you? Let me get the speaker on. What's going on with you?
How's it going, Brother Jay?
What's going on, good brother? How you doing?
Nothing much, man. Just checking out this live, man. I appreciate what you're doing, man. Touching on these topics.
Carlos calling in from you calling in from Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Calling in from Dallas, Texas. So give us some insight, brother. Give us some insight on the mental illness topic.
Okay. First of all, congratulations to y'all brothers for touching on with some real topics.
Thank you.
And I wanted to touch on mental illness. I think a lot of the mental illnesses that's happening in the community is linked to the food that we're eating. I think that we need to stick to the dietary law. I think that on top of the food that we're eating, I think that with the smoking and drinking culture, it's kind of ruining the community. And then once we eat unhealthy, then we go to the doctor, and then they prescribe medicine that's harmful to the body. Absolutely. So with that being said, we need to get back to the Genesis 129 diet with the herbs.
That brother dropped some science.
With the herbs and, eating clean, and a lot of the mental illnesses will, I'm not saying it's going to go away, but it's the solution. That's the solution, to the problem as of for right now, on top of getting rid of our habits, drinking and smoking. So I'm not going to stay long. That's what I want to touch about. We just need to get back to eating clean diet, working out, exercising. And since we have Medicare, Medicaid, and things like that, that don't mean that we have to run to the doctor every time something, is wrong with us. Back in the days, when they had, our ancestors, they had less and did more, and we have more and doing less.
That brother dropping some science.
So with mental illness, it's just all about, we're just trying to eat healthy and eat clean and live a better life, and change up our lifestyle.
Absolutely.
That's some real science. And and if you feel like it, where can they reach you at? And I know you in business and things like that. You want to tell them anything about that?
They can reach me, Smith Moving Company. I've been in the industry since 2007. Anybody that's need to relocate, I'm gonna relocate. I relocate, I move homes, daily here in Dallas, Fort Worth, across the country, all the lower 48. And if they need, things shipped to the 50, we can do that as well. You can contact me at 801-604-5374.
That's what's up, brother. We're going to reach back to you. I appreciate you calling in. We need you to call in every week, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to send you a link so that, next week or something, we can get you on the split screen and get you on the show, brother, because that's some real science, what you just said right there. We finna touch on that right now.
All right, brother. Y'all be safe.
All right, thank you. Share the live too, brother. Share the live.
All right.
That brother said diet, and I would, that's something that I'm glad he brought up, and we gonna touch on that. We gonna touch on that in just a second. I want to finish looking at some of these mental illnesses because that's important. We get them all out in the open. So we have sociopaths. All right. And we said a little bit, sociopaths ain't as dangerous, but they're dangerous and could be very vicious in social settings. You know what I mean? You have a lot of sociopaths on social media. That's where a lot of them live.
Yeah. I concur with that statement.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of them live. You ever went to a function or something like that, and somebody is just viciously working a room and talking to everybody? They could either be on drugs or they potentially could be a sociopath. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think, I think everybody has a bit of sociopath in them.
Yeah, I can, yeah.
And so, of course, like anything else, if you feed that particular part of you, you know what I'm saying, then of course that's when you become that compulsive sociopath, that compulsive liar, that compulsive storyteller, or player or liar, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So I just I want to get, yes, we want to put all the topics out. Yeah. And yes, there's pros and cons to each and every one of them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so the topic of the show is there a blessing or a curse?
That's right.
Yeah. And so, just like everything in us human beings, there's a positive and there's a negative. Okay. It all depends on which one you feed. Okay. Because some of us don't care about attention. True. Some of us gotta have attention.
So that's a sociopath.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody that got to have attention.
Right. And so, but everybody wants some attention.
And it could be the opposite, could be bad too. Being a inverted type individual that don't want you don't think you want no attention.
Everybody, it's a saying that I heard some time ago. And please don't get offended, people, when I say this, but women and babies cry for it. Men would die for it. Ooh. And it's all a form of attention, but it's recognition. Everybody's looking for recognition and attention, but women and children would cry for it, and men would die for it.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? That's deep. And so, yes, everybody has a sociopath in them. Right. It might not be as magnified in some people as it is in others. But go ahead. I know you try to move on to the next.
Okay. So, the next one is potentially the most dangerous. Okay. Psychopath. Okay. And that's more of a individual with a mental illness that's displaying a character trait. Right? So a psychopath is going to resemble your killers. We have a lot of psychopaths in young black men these days where they can just lose all the ability for rationale and actually create a plan to kill another brother.
I tell people all the time, it's a good thing that doggone what's that guy's name? Stephen King. It's a great thing that Stephen King is a novelist. He's an author, right? Because the things that cat makes up in his mind, right? If he wasn't a novelist, or author, just imagine the type of serial killer that cat can be, right? Based on the books that he did. Now, going back to what you were saying, we, as a young man, we being outside, growing up as kids, in our infant stages and so forth, burning up, bugs with magnifying glasses, and, all that kind of stuff. Those are all signs of being a sociopath.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And so, again, and I hate to keep beating the dead horse over here, right? But I gotta say, we all have certain characteristics, and we all have all of these things in us, but it all depends on what you feed. Because I know I done burnt up some doggone, love bugs and some grasshoppers and all that different type of stuff. With magnifying glasses, I didn't set some stuff on fire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, didn't feed the dog when I was supposed to feed the dog, and they end up dying or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So it was, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And please don't crucify me for saying that, all you dog lovers out there. But I was, young and didn't want to take. I didn't want all the doggone dogs, in the yard. So that's why I was doing. But those are all signs of being a sociopath.
Yeah.
Now, here it is, 30 some odd years later. I don't even have those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And so it all depends on what you feed. But yes, you're absolutely right. If somebody continue to feed that, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because I'm actually from an area, the Midwest, that produce sociopaths. You know what I mean? The environment really cultivates individuals that really plot on killing you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Really think about that on a daily basis. Like, I'm gonna handle this. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to think we grew up in the crack era.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and crack, cocaine, was a whole, that thing messed with folks' head.
We gonna touch on that. We about to touch on that. There's some real distractions outside this window down here in Miami. So we just want this just don't make no sense sometimes.
But yeah, so it was, it's just like I said, man, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And so I lost my train of thought, man.
That's okay, because now we about to go back, right? So we done gave y'all quite a bit of, different characteristics or different, personalities. But now we gonna go back and really examine some of this a little bit more. So we want to touch on depression, because that's where we started at. What is causing the depression these days in a lot of people? You know what I mean? And I'm gonna throw the first one out there. Unlike in the 2000s, early 90s, early 80s, now we have something called social media. You know what I'm saying? And social media is, from my opinion, because it's no study on it yet, because I'm sure they don't want to bring the study out, is causing, I want to say, close to maybe even 50% of the current depression. You know what I'm saying? People really looking at the gains or the successes of someone else, and after 5 or 6 hours of them, not only looking at all this stuff where other people are supposedly succeeding, but their brain being fried by the phone, then they put the phone down and look at their own lives, and it's not even 1/10 of what they've been seeing on there.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of a lot of that is people faking it to make it anyway.
Right.
And so you're trying to compete with what somebody else has on their page, and what they have on their page isn't even the truth.
Right.
And so I 100% agree with you. I would actually say that number would probably be larger than 50%.
Right.
Simply because you have grown adults, 40s and 50s, who might not be phone savvy,
right,
but they're still looking at TikTok and still looking at Facebook and all these different other social media platforms. But just imagine what it's doing to the kids. Because I can tell you right now, from experience, I've seen babies that know how to work YouTube, and know how to work Facebook and all that stuff before they even know how to read a book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're growing up into this whole social media world, comparing themselves to something that's filtered.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because most of these people are putting filters on themselves, making themselves look different, or putting BBLs, and all this other different type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then they won't. Okay, well, her, body looks like this. Why do mine look like this?
Right.
Her face is made up, and her hair, or her, lace front, or whatever they're doing these days.
Yeah.
This it looks great. Why can't I have that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so all these things is causing that depression.
Right.
And it's, this is off the topic, but it's also causing bullying.
Right.
Too. Cyberbullying.
That probably linked back to a sociopath, because that's now they finding the avenue to really get pleasure out of, punishing, or maybe in a psychopath, but that they might go a little bit further and make a fake profile, and try to follow you and try to see where you live at and all that there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's definitely more of the sociopath situation, right?
Right. Because I remember, and I think I'm a little older than you, but I remember it was only a select few of people who had Jordans coming up.
Yeah.
Up until you got to maybe middle school, high school. But elementary school, freaking 1 through 5, you only had maybe 1 or 2 people in your school that had a pair of Jordans, or who had a pair of Jacks.
Right.
And then of course, once you got to middle school, then of course you start seeing more and more. And you knew if those people had that particular pair of shoes on, what they did.
When you say what they did, what you mean?
Where they come from. Like most of the people who was wearing that type of stuff was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Or the family was extremely well off. You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the things. And so all of us was wearing the British Nikes, and all of us was wearing the Troops, and most of us was wearing the Adidas, and and the Kangaroos and all that kind of stuff. The ponies. I know they don't even make ponies no more, do they? But
I ain't seen none.
But the ponies and all that kind of stuff. The feelers. But the Elises. So those were the brands we were wearing, and the vast majority wore. So the Michael Jackson parachute pants, and the beaded jackets and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So everybody in the hood or everybody in your neighborhood primarily was on the same level. Now with all of this social media stuff going on,
right,
everybody's kind of again faking it to make it. So you got people who don't have but go and get the knockoff,
right,
you know what I'm saying, and perpetrate like it's the real. And so now you got these kids like, hey mom, why can't I have XYZ, such and such around the corner have it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or hey mom, why can't I do XYZ? Why can't I go on the boat? Or why can't I go to Disney World? Or why can't I go to whatever the case is? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that depression thing is real, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about 2 other things about depression before we move on to schizophrenia. But I just want to say that one, we about to talk about the diet and how that affects depression.
Oh, he laid it down when he talked about
that brother, man. And then we're gonna jump over the finances and how that, off top, will have you depressed. But I just want to touch on something interesting that just actually popped. This how Google be working too. I was researching some stuff and it popped into my phone, and I was like, that's crazy. So I'm gonna read it off real quick. It's been a recent increase in fatal sodium nitrate poisonings that have some health experts calling for stricter regulations of the substance. Right, sodium nitrate is a white salt commonly used in curing meat, but in recent years it have also been used as poison in suicide. Okay, so what the article was saying is the meats that basically they sell in the hood and some people in affluent areas may use, like the cured salamis, or your smoked meats, your hog head cheese, your Polishes, You feel what I'm saying? Your
The hot dogs and stuff.
your hot dogs, your Polishes, your pickled pig ears. I know that's crazy, right? Your
Okay.
pickled pig
I mean, I'm from the
ears.
South, so I grew up eating
Yeah.
pickled pig feet, but
You know what I'm saying? Pickled
Okay,
pig.
yeah.
But we not knowing that they using a poison that tricks your mind into suicidal thoughts or going ballistic. So all you brothers and sisters out there that still buying hog head cheese, that still buying salami. I know my mom, she used to keep some salami and cheese in the refrigerator. We grew up on that, not
Okay.
knowing that that was actually poisoning us, but the government knew it. Because in the affluent areas, they not eating no hog head cheese.
No.
In the affluent areas, they not eating no salami. They not eating, they may be eating smoked fish, but we wasn't eating no smoked fish. But that may be another salt, but it ain't the sodium nitrate,
Right.
right? And they also saying that they are utilizing this salt in online communities to have cures to go ahead and take your life with.
Well, the thought that comes to mind is this: most of the stuff that we eat here in the United States, that you can't even sell it overseas.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? And so the FDA, and all that kind of stuff, they just push stuff through based on agenda. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so because the burgers you eat at McDonald's here, or the ribs you might eat at Smoky Bones or somewhere here,
Yeah,
once you go to Europe or once you go to France, or
Yeah.
once you go to those countries, the quality of food, the quality of that meat,
mm-hmm.
you can't even
feel me?
you can't do that. And so just think about this: the same cornflakes,
Mm-hmm.
right, that you eat here in America,
Yeah.
if you go to Europe, it's a whole different quality and substance of cornflakes over
Yeah,
there.
they got corn chips
Right.
in the box.
But it's better. The food is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The food is way better
Yeah.
overseas than it is over here.
And with that being said, we're gonna get into some hot Cheetos too.
Oh, man.
We're gonna get into some hot Cheetos too, and I'm gonna touch on something that y'all ain't gonna even believe with these hot Cheetos. But if you 25 and older and you still eating hot Cheetos, or you went to the store today and got some hot Cheetos, shame on you. Shame on you.
Flaming hot.
Flaming hots. Now I ain't gonna lie. I need to stop every blue moon going in the store getting some Takis. I don't know what it is
Who?
about them Takis. These
Taki?
Takis, man, they it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So, but they all the same family, but I ain't ate none in months and months and months. But if you went to the store and got some hot Cheetos today, shame on you. Anyway,
Tell the people why tell the people.
I am.
You already brought it up.
But they
Might as
got
well
to-
drop it now.
it got to do with schizophrenia. So when we
Gotcha.
get over the schizophrenia, then we're gonna touch on the things that you can eat that gonna make you schizophrenic potentially. Depression. So you eating like crazy because whatever the case may be. Relationships. That we're gonna get into relationships real quick too. And you gain 100 pounds, 150 pounds, especially for the women. Gain 150 pounds, men's too, and now you depressed. Now you don't want to go nowhere. Now you don't want to, be a part of no activities, because everywhere you go, somebody like, oh damn, you didn't gain a lot of weight, and that's just further, more and more and more, making you feel bad about yourself. That can put you in a state of depression.
You stepping on some toes now.
Hey, as black men, as black women, we gotta get up.
As my boy Kevin Samuels would say, God rest his soul. The women nowadays are wearing more than the men.
It's true,
But that's I don't want to go into that. But anyway,
but it's real.
but yeah. So but that goes back into the whole social media thing too.
Yep.
Because you're seeing these people who has these filters and who's editing their shapes and figures and so forth on these pictures,
Yeah.
and then here it is, you looking like Oompa Loompa, or shaped similar to,
Yeah.
And now you don't want to go to the club, or you don't want to go to the outings, to the picnics and the barbecues,
Yeah.
because of you feeling a certain kind of way about yourself.
And we ain't here to bash you. We just saying that's
What men too, though. That ain't
You know
just
what I'm saying?
that ain't just what women,
Yeah.
because it's a whole bunch of folks. And I have to say this. Back when, and I'm sure you remember this.
Mhm.
Back when Rick Ross
Mhm.
and what's the cat from New York?
Mhm.
Shoot, what's his name? Terror Squad. You
Mhm.
know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Big Pun.
No, not the other one. The one that do the
Oh, okay. You talking about Fat Joe?
yeah.
Okay.
You got Fat Joe
Yeah.
and Killer Pun old boy from Atlanta.
Mhm.
That used to attention.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
cat.
Punisher. Or
yeah.
something like that. Mhm.
When they used to walk around with big bellies and stuff out.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They kind of try to make, you know what I'm saying? And being, remember I told you last week that in my opinion,
Right.
rap has done more to hurt people than it has to help people.
Okay.
So you see that being pushed out,
Mhm.
and then it was okay for men to go out and just gain all this weight
Right.
because you had the top dogs in the industry at concerts, at award shows, at whatever the case is, just out with their bellies and stuff out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, and then of course they start having health issues and almost dying and passing out and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then now they're in diabetes and all that kind of stuff. And so now they're scaling it back, but the sociological damage has already been done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, because they were millionaires doing that, the females thought that it was cool.
Right.
And so it became acceptable for men to just be, Buddha dolls.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Buddha statues.
Yeah, it's not cool at all. Being fat is a thing of the past. And I'm trying to say that as sensitive as possible. I'm not trying to bash. But if you overweight and you can do something about it, that's most definitely gonna help your mood. Listen, I run 3 miles every now and then. Okay, so like once a week or something like that. And after I get done running them miles, I feel like I feel high. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I done took some drugs.
The pheromones, you just released all those pheromones.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I be feeling like, man, I'm finna get right. Like I'm finna get on my ass. I'm finna do my business. I'm finna be straight. You know what I'm saying? So I'll run in the morning and then come to work and I'm on point. Feel like I done had 3 cups of coffee. I'm on it.
Right. But I think I think a lot of people are counterproductive.
Facts.
And they're counterproductive because yes, some people, not saying, but some people go and run, work out, whatever the case is, but as soon as they get done working out, they stop at McDonald's.
Facts.
Or they stop at one of these fast food restaurants.
And I'm glad you said that because we're gonna touch on this and then we're gonna move on to paranoid schizophrenia. We're gonna move on to the subject. So when you eating chicken or you eating beef or you eating pork, you must keep in mind that those animals, you're eating the blood, maybe not the pork because pork doesn't have veins in the part that you're eating, but the chicken and the beef, those blood cells is full of toxins, is full of hormones and everything that the cow has experienced or the chicken has experienced on their way to death. They communicate. They know that they're getting ready to die. So when you eat them chicken wings or when you eat them burgers or you eat them ribs or when you eat all these type of things that they have stressed and been so, they have been shocked and they have seen death coming their way, they have died, and you putting it into your body, what do you think that's going to do to your mind? Because when you go to the doctor and they be like, oh, you depressed? Okay, take these pills. What does the pills do? The pills go in your stomach and your stomach absorb them and send signals to your brain to make you feel better. Right. So they basically really giving you some food. The pills they giving you is really food.
Okay.
Right. But it's edible. It's edible chemicals that tell your brain to do something. The same thing is with the dead meat, with the hamburgers, with the chicken, with the medium rare steaks. You know what I'm saying? They have died, and everything that's been released from their small pineal gland has been released into their blood to calm them, or maybe it was so quick that they couldn't even do that, so they just got killed. Boom, and now you eating that,
Right.
and now you feel that pain. You wonder why you just ate that burger, and now you feeling so sad, or you ate that big thing of chicken, and you feeling like, man, I don't know what's wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? It's because that was the same way the chicken was feeling before it got killed.
I just looked at, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because and this is just an experience that I had just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Right. I literally was. What was I eating? I was eating some ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I had,
shame on you, Mr. Flowers.
hey,
But anyway,
you know, but I was eating some ribs, right? And I got halfway done, right? And I looked down at the plate, and I said to myself, in a I don't even know what mood I was in, kind of like a sad, like disgusted mood. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I eating this? You know what I'm saying? And it was like, you know, I had the asparagus on one side, not the asparagus, but the Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts, by the way. So I was eating Brussels sprouts. I had some the ribs, and I think I had, you know, some potatoes or something on the, you know, some scalloped potatoes, right? And so I'm eating this, and I get halfway done and look down at my plate, kind of sad and kind of like disgusted. It was like, ugh. And I just threw the whole plate in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm so disgusted. And I was sad and the whole 9 yards. But yeah, you know, and now that you say that, it makes a whole lot of sense.
yeah. And the last thing we're gonna touch on before we move on to paranoid schizophrenia and its effects and what it can do and how you can help it, you know, fight it, is relationships. Relationships can have you. Relationships could put you in an extreme dark place. So we have to be extremely careful with who we call ourselves being with, laying with, marrying, getting married to. You know what I mean? You have to be careful, because you may be stuck in a situation that keeps you depressed. You may get out of depression, and then you go back into depression because you and your partner, you and your mate is not on the same frequency. Y'all don't have no chemistry. Y'all don't even get along.
The sex just good.
It may be, or it may not be. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, and I can say that a lot of time that is the case. That people don't, you know, number one, people don't like to be alone.
Yeah.
Even though everybody talk about, I'd rather do this, and you know, people just don't like to be alone.
Right.
All this other stuff is just fly, as we say, flogging. They just flogging.
Mm-hmm.
But
I ain't heard that one in a minute.
They just flogging. But you know, people don't like to be alone, and so they would rather. Some people, not all people, but the vast majority of people would much rather deal with something that they do not want to tolerate or be in, rather than be alone.
And they just depressed.
Because when you're with someone, your body releases those hormones and then endorphins and all that kind of stuff.
Endorphins, yeah.
Right. And so, and they say, quote unquote, you know, when you're literally around other people, or when you're with someone, you actually live longer than when you do when you're by yourself.
I heard that study, for sure. Yeah.
And so I think, but you know, yeah, your body's releasing, you know, hormones and endorphins and all that kind of stuff, but stress will also kill you.
And that may, you know, that's another one but do stress really cause depression? I don't really think that stress is can.
Of course, stress. I don't know the scientific nature of it.
Yeah.
But imagine yourself being stressed, overstressed.
Facts.
Right? When you're overstressed with something, you go into a sense of or a sense of depression, because when you're overstressed, you begin to, at that point, you know, you go into self-doubt, you go into you know, other, mental mind states that is not which is not your normal mental mind state on a regular basis, right? So imagine being in a bad relationship. Since we're talking about relationships, right? You're in a bad relationship. You are stressed about because I don't want to go home because all she gonna do is X, Y, Z, or I don't want to go home because all he gonna do is fuss and cuss, and I'm sure she gonna want me to do the dishes, or she gonna want me to do to take the garbage out, or she gonna want me to do all these different things that you probably should have done already, but you've been so boggled with I ain't doing shit because I ain't happy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so what does a confused person do? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you're in a situation where you're unhappy, you're stressed, you're confused, and so because I'm confused, unhappy, and stressed, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit here and bathe in this nonsense.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Until I can pick up the courage, or until I just had enough. And that's where a lot of people are. They are just bathing in nonsense because until they finally have just had enough, and then they can just pick up the pieces and move on, or pick up the pieces and go to therapy and try to fix it.
Understood. No, that's real talk. And we want to invite anybody. If you don't catch us, we're going to run this back. If you don't catch us this week, y'all make sure y'all catch us next week. And call in, man. And this is a little bit off the subject, but y'all love when somebody getting drunk. You know what I'm saying, on this air. Y'all love we had the girl here with her breast out and everything. Y'all be all in the comments and everything, right? You know what I mean? Y'all love, all the negativity and the nonsense. But when we blast out, and we just started though too, but when we blast out, we talking about mental illness, everybody run, because you want to go to the stuff that make you feel good, right? And that's another problem with social media, right? You want to stay on the page where somebody walking up crates and falling down crates. That's what make you happy though. But when we talk about the real issues, you don't want to tune in, right? You know what I'm saying? Minister Louis Farrakhan can get none of y'all to tune in, right? But you will tune into somebody talking about something that happened in the past, way back in the day, talking about some rap stuff, right? That's cool and everything, but let's hold some accountability for our people, because you need to know how this is affecting your people. You know what I'm saying? You need to know how this is affecting your family before you be snapping on them, before you be putting them out, you know what I'm saying? Before you be stepping over them when you leaving a club or something like they, you know what I'm saying, ain't nothing.
Well, that's because people don't like to look in the mirror.
Facts.
People rather look out the window than look out the mirror.
That's cold. Paranoid schizophrenia. Paranoid schizophrenia. It's attacking, and it's working on our black men in America like never before. You try to figure out, you try to wonder why all these 21, 22, 23, 30-year-old men are walking down the streets of America, Miami, all of Florida, Atlanta, North Carolina, South Carolina, DC, New Jersey, New York, you know what I mean? You name it, Chicago, Milwaukee, you know what I mean? Cali. Man, why did you see all these young black men talking to themselves, walking down the street like zombies? What are the new zombies these days? When you look and see these black men just wondering, and they wondering aimlessly, what happened to them? We need some answers.
So think about this, and I'm sure you've seen the movies or whatever the case is, or even, might even have some relatives or whatever the case is. That was, in the 60s and 70s, it was heroin, right? In the 80s and 90s, it was crack, right? In the 2000s and 2010s and now 2020s, it's pills. You know what I'm saying? So they've reduced, and marijuana, because marijuana is like whoa,
Yeah, we gonna touch on that.
You know what I'm saying? And so aniline and all the other bogus crap. So not to mention what we have not touched on outside of the pills and the drugs and all that kind of stuff is we are more TV based now. And television is the number one sociological deterrent. Actually, that's what it was designed to do. Thus, they call it television programming. You know what I'm saying? And so we have been desensitized, and we have been taught and shown a way of what they want or how they want us to act and what they want us to be through movies, videos, television programs, and so forth and so forth. All the positive stuff of Black people has been taken off. You know what I'm saying? Think about it from this perspective. And I know I'm going left field and off topic or whatever the case is, but think about it from this perspective. Every successful Black television show now has what? A homosexual in it. And who's the homosexual in that particular television program? In most cases, probably 98% of the cases, is Black men. They're not showing you the lesbian Black women. They're showing you the homosexual Black male. Why? Because it's designed to do so. Because they're trying to they want the Black man to be. At first, they want, you know, they portrayed us as nothing but thugs. Now they're portraying us as nothing but homosexuals. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, and they're pushing the agenda of a more powerful Black woman. You know what I'm saying? The vice president, you know, all these different positions, mayors and so forth. And now, of course, they're pushing the powerful Black woman. So now a Black man sees that, as well as he's on drugs because he can't deal with, you know, what society has categorized him as. And he, you know, is not going to school. He is not, you know, doing the necessary steps to better himself as an individual, you know. And so all of these things is why you're starting to see more and more and more of our Black men. And I'm speaking specifically about our Black men, because that is the vast majority of the people that you see,
right,
with the schizophrenia.
Right.
And so, and you know, who's eating the most junk food? Because you're starting to see, and yeah, we talk about the females being, bigger than most men, but they're going to more females are going to the gym than Black men are going to the gym.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, they're going to make up for some things because, yeah, you know, you have a lot that go get the BBLs and all that kind of stuff, and then go to the gym to make it seem like they did it naturally. Mm-hmm. You know, to make it seem like they did it naturally, or they're just trying to keep off the fat from coming back to those areas that they took the fat from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, you have, you know, that perspective. You have the meaning of the Black men, because everyone, I mean, and I'm not gonna say every, because that's a major statement, but the vast majority of the shows, the stuff on the radios and all that kind of stuff are badgering, you know what I'm saying, and have been for decades now, the Black man. So the Black man has pretty much have lost his self-respect in so many words. And I'm not gonna say all, albeit, but the vast majority of them have.
Okay.
Not to mention, a lot of them have also grew up in a single parent home.
Right.
You know, and and you treat the son like the daughter and treat the daughter like the son.
That's deep. That's real deep. And I'm gonna touch back on that too. That's deep. I'm gonna touch back on that, but I do want to say something about schizophrenia and diet. Okay.
Yeah, go back into. I want to talk about these Cheetos. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm finna address the Cheetos right now. So they did a study. I believe it was in Princeton. They did a study where they had two mice, right? And one mice they gave fruits and vegetables for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And the other mice they fed hot Cheetos to that mice for 6 weeks. So at the beginning of the study, each one of them was supposed to just fine. 2 weeks into the study, they noticed a considerable change in the mice that was eating the hot Cheetos. They seen he became very anxious. His skin and his fur began to get brittle. 4 weeks into it, they noticed that this mice was just fine, healthy, walking around. This mice was in a corner with beady eyes, right? The eyes bulging out his head. He had lost hair. He had alopecia areata in certain areas, and he was extremely vicious. Let me just say that. At 6 weeks, that one was attacking his own legs and limbs, right? And this one was just fine, but this one was able to smell this one, so he was staying away from that because he knew this one was over there with having some real issues, and he can hear it, of course.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate with that study, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you feeding him nothing, was he being fed nothing but the Cheetos?
Nothing but Cheetos.
I mean, you'd be the same way. If you wasn't eating anything of substance, all you was eating was just, bull feces.
Okay, right. So that's the whole point of so a lot of individuals in the lower income neighborhoods right now eat hot Cheetos on a regular basis. Like, you know what I mean? I've sat there and watched kids go to the store at 9 o'clock in the morning and come back out with some hot Cheetos and a cake.
I mean, yeah. I hear what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. All I'm saying is with that study, and I believe you because I've heard that before. But if people in lower, income communities, I'm sure, we've all eaten the mayonnaise sandwiches and the hot dogs or the potty meat or whatever, the spam sandwiches or whatever this is. You know what I'm saying? So I've heard of people. I've never had the experience of myself, but I've heard of people who had a refrigerator with nothing in it and they had to make do with what they could make do with. So I've heard that situation before, but I don't think they're just eating nothing but, you know what I'm saying, like the rat did for 6 weeks. Now I can understand if they're eating chips with their sandwiches or they're eating chips with, whatever the case is on a consistent basis. I get that portion, but just every day for 6 weeks, I don't.
It's a lot of people out here that eat Cheetos every day, and you would notice that the behavior in some neighborhoods is irate. You have individuals that walk around with beady eyes. You know what I'm saying? You have individuals, especially some women with alopecia areata. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Skin that is not up to par. You know what I'm saying? A lot of skin issues, and a lot of that comes from the hot Cheetos.
Well, I don't dispute it. I'm just saying it's just hard for me to fathom.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So,
but you don't eat hot Cheetos no more, right?
I've never eaten hot Cheetos.
Okay, you know what I'm saying. But, don't start.
Right. I mean, especially after now, I'm not.
You know what I'm saying.
I've never, and I love spicy food, but I've never. That's just foolery. From my perspective. You know what I'm saying. No offense to people that do eat it, but that was something I was never into. And
they blamed a lot of it on the chemical monosodium glutamate.
Okay.
Which is MSG.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And MSG changes the behavior and changes the mind state of individuals.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and they call it, some reactions, they call it Chinese restaurant reaction. It's crazy. It's actually a term. You feel me?
Right. Well, also, and this is something that we had to discuss, but fluoride.
We're gonna get into that, but that fluoride don't necessarily cause schizophrenia.
I beg to differ.
Okay, why?
Because that's what they used in the chambers,
right?
Back in the day.
So the fluoride will be more attached to depression versus the schizophrenia, because they want the fluoride is going to mutual. It's a substance that's used to reduce your ability to conceptualize or think properly. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like some it's almost in the same class as indica marijuana. You know what I mean? A substance that's utilized to block your testosterone. You know what I'm saying? That's also used to block your connection with the universe and the stars, because it's certain stars and it's certain star connections, and it's certain the connection with Mars in a certain year, and things like that acts upon your behaviors. And if they can block that, if they can utilize that to coat your stomach and things like that, you won't really receive the nutrition that you need to for your brain to work on the optimal levels.
Gotcha. Okay. I know fluoride was used in the chambers.
Facts.
You know, so yeah.
To kill them slowly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they had.
And wasn't it to stop them from dreaming or something like that?
Man, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You have some things in your mind, and that's where the gift and the curse come, because some people's minds are open.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people's minds are open, and when your mind is open, you can see and hear things that other people can't hear. I remember somebody used to tell me what he used to be seeing is real, and I, just could not understand, like, what are you talking about? But you know what I mean? He told me some things that absolutely make sense now, because he can see the future, but those gifts was too much for him to handle.
Well, and that I hear what you're saying, because I'll put in different terms than what you just said. But,
okay.
There are certain things. Have you ever just been riding down the street or watching television or doing something, whatever it is, right? And you see the same exact thing that you thought about 5-10 years ago?
Yeah. You talking about like deja vu?
No, not deja vu.
Okay.
It's something that, or like something that you was being pulled to do, right?
Okay.
Or called to do, or whatever the case is, right? You had a thought, a vision, a dream. Like, you know what? It'd be great to have XYZ.
Okay.
Because it's not on the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because you didn't do it,
right,
5 years down the road, sometimes it don't even take that long. Sometimes months down the road, or a couple years down the road,
okay,
you see that same exact dream, vision, or idea that you had.
Okay, yes.
Right.
Only in one circumstance, yes.
Right, and that's because it needed to be put out there, but you didn't have the wherewithal, because as you just so kindly stated, it was too big for you to be able to accomplish at the time.
Right.
So that dream, vision, or idea was given to somebody else to bring to fruition, because you wasn't, or that person wasn't in a position or in a mental mind state that they thought to be able to accomplish whatever it was.
That's a possibility. And I say that because, I mentor these, particularly these young black men that have mental illnesses, and everywhere I go, I see them. So even here in Miami, I have about 3 that stop by the store every day, and there's one in particular. This brother is from New York, and he always, at first, I and this happened with a lot of them, but at first I thought he was just talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was just he'll be talking, and then he'll get off into talking about The Rock and talking about Rockefeller and all this here, and I'm like, man, this dude, you know what I'm saying? But the last 2 days, I just listened to him, right? Because he demanded me. He like, bro, listen to me. So when he said that, I'm like, well, let me listen to this brother. You know what I'm saying? This brother told me something yesterday that blew my mind. You know what I'm saying? This brother told me something I know he don't know. You know what I'm saying? He went off on a tangent and was just telling me some things about myself and about my situation that I'm like, what in the world? You know what I mean? It kind of shook me up a little bit, because I'm like, how did he know that? You know what I'm saying? And the other one told me some stuff that in general. So I say that to say these people that you see laying on the ground, these people you see walking laughing to themselves, they may be touched in an area that we can't even understand, because we've been bombarded with pesticides, because we've been bombarded with fluoride and all these different things, but their pineal gland or their mind is activating on a different level. You know what I'm saying? They have different type of the real scientific nature of it. They have different proteins that's allowed to go into their brain to change their way of thinking.
Well, the richest place in the world is the graveyard.
Wow.
Because, you know what I'm saying, you got so many people who, like I was just stating, had that dream, vision, or goal, or, you know, insight to do certain things and never did it. You know what I'm saying? And so you have all these different cures to cancer. You have all these different, you know, cures to these different diseases. You got all these different tangible things that people never actually, you know, the ideas that they might have had, that they never did anything with them. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff went in that ground with them. So the richest place on earth is the graveyards.
That's deep. But you know what I'm saying? But I brought that up because we was talking about schizophrenic. So these people that's talking to themselves, these people who having conversations with God knows whom, you know what I'm saying? They are actually, some just might be fighting. They're fighting that demon, or they're fighting that thought, or they're fighting that vision within themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, of course, I bring all this up because, of course, the title of the show is a blessing or a curse. Right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can be a curse because you take all that stuff, you know, and never do anything with it. But it could also be a blessing because you're having dialogue with that dream. You're having dialogue with that vision. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a real thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you're having dialogue with, I don't know whatever your religious beliefs are, but you're having dialogue with the creator. Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so that just means that you're closer to him because you're able to sit literally on a park bench, or you're literally able to sit on the couch or in a chair or whatever the case is, and literally have a dialogue with that individual. That's deep right there. I want to touch on also some things that you can do to, you know, kind of save yourself from catching or getting paranoid schizophrenia, because it is a disease. Is it contagious? I don't think so. Is it hereditary? Is it hereditary? Potentially. But I know for a fact, dealing with some, you know, people that I know, that certain drugs and certain food can bring it out of you. It may be hereditary, the brain movement and the way the brain activates, but if you put certain sugars in your body, if you put marijuana in your body, if you put, you know, dope in your body, if you put pills in your body, it's going to release or block certain pathways in order. Now you done crossed over. You feel what I'm saying? I think I hear you, but I believe that it's just one of those things where I think the masses really don't understand it. And so that's why we call it a disease, because, you know, we don't understand it. Because it's not, yes, you can, it's a, you know, I think there's a chemical imbalance. Facts. You know, but is it really an imbalance? It really is. You know what I'm saying? Is it really an imbalance? Because if I don't understand something, of course, if something is not normal or is not of the norm, right? And I don't understand it, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to critique it, and I'm going to shun it, and I'm going to speak derogatory about, you know, negatively about it. You understand? Yeah. And so
but is it really something from? And I'm talking from, what was the movie with the guy that played the gladiator? When he was talking to the kids and stuff. I can't think of the name of the movie. But
go ahead.
You know the title of the movie?
I don't. I often say, if anybody do, leave that in the comments, in the comment section.
But and again, maybe I'm biased because I do, like I said, I have an auntie who was diagnosed with it, and now she has to take different medications, and at certain times she does look like a lump on the log because of the medications that they're giving her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is a young lady, in her prime prior to the diagnosis she was the life of the party.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you're talking, and I've heard her say prior to the diagnosis that she used to see, people and all this kind of stuff prior to the diagnosis.
Yeah.
This is when she was a kid, a teenager, and so forth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she's lived all these years, 40, 50 years of living and talking and having dialogue with these, quote unquote people that you and I can't see.
Right.
But it wasn't until she was diagnosed and they put her on all these medications to where she became like a shell of herself.
Yeah. Diagnosed.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna just drop that one.
Right. And so it wasn't until she was diagnosed with, having that disease that she became, someone that we barely recognize.
Yeah. And, a lot of times, and this is the trickiest thing about paranoid right now, we're talking about paranoid schizophrenia, y'all, and the effects and stuff like that. One of the trickiest things about paranoid schizophrenia is the people actually don't know they got it. The mind tricks them into believing that they just fine. You know what I'm saying? So you dealing with depression, you depressed, or you gonna find out you depressed real soon. You're a psychopath, you got some issues because you're steady thinking about killing somebody or something, stabbing somebody, or you a sociopath, you got to go to the club every weekend, you got to be on social media hey, it's a lot of women out there suffering from sociopath situations, and we're gonna touch on that in just a minute. We're gonna get off this paranoid schizophrenia and get into that in just a second. But I wanted to say that one of the things that you want to watch out for right now, y'all, is you want to be careful with the marijuana. They pushing the marijuana hard. Everybody rolling up good backwoods blunts and all this, but what you don't know is they are in labs. When I went to Vegas and we did some recreational, just going to the thing just to see what's going on, right? The lady told me, "Sir, we have marijuana that can do anything you want it to do." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "If you want to laugh all night, we got that marijuana over there. If you want to just feel sad, if you want to get creative, if you want to do some sex stuff, we got the marijuana over there to get you activated." I'm like, wow, y'all got all this different stuff. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got the stuff that ain't going to make you paranoid. We got the stuff that's almost 60% THC, Gorilla Glue, all this shit. I'm like, man, people get stuck like that. So if you're getting high, you know what I'm saying? Because you're supposed to smoke, but don't get high. You feel me? If you're getting high, you may tap into a region of your brain that you may not be able to come back from. And Lord knows when it comes to popping the pills, that wave is over, y'all. That wave is done. Because once you pop it, you can't throw it back up. You feel me? Once you pop it, it's in you. And everything, that used to be a recreational drug or fun to do, now it can make you snap. You know what I'm saying? You can snap and not come back. You feel what I'm saying? So, when it comes to all that, and we ain't gonna even talk about alcohol, you feel me? Because the alcohol now, man, listen. Yeah, we ain't gonna even get on the alcohol because
we'll touch it.
We gotta touch it, right?
Yeah.
Man, listen. Hennessy. If anybody out there know the effects of Hennessy on the brain and why you be like, man, that dude went crazy last night. Yeah, that's because they intentionally, I didn't know that they put, because they don't They don't legally have to put no ingredients on the liquor.
Right.
There's no ingredients, so you don't know what's in the liquor. Somebody pulled me to the side, said, because I used to drink Hennessy all the time. My people in Utah know we used to turn up, we used to have a good time.
Hennessy was a drink. I got turned off of Hennessy by in my early 30s.
You probably tore the club up. You probably tore some stuff up. I know I tore some stuff up. But guess what? I didn't know Hennessy got steroids in it. Hennessy got steroids in it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not surprised, but okay.
You feel me? So you wonder why after you drink the Hennessy and you drink a couple, now you ready to do whatever. Right?
Well, I say I'm not surprised because think about this. What demographics, right, drinks the most amount of Hennessy?
Right. Black people.
So
Asian people.
So if I know that this certain demographics is going to go to the liquor store and get a bottle of Hennessy, why wouldn't I? If I'm trying to do away with that, species, you know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't I, put certain chemicals in it to, make some things negatively happen to that particular species?
That's crazy. They really sitting back designing this up, and we do apologize. We is going live. We still trying to figure this thing out. So this the second show, so y'all bear with, because we trying to figure it out, and we got cameras going out, we got mics falling over, we got lights popping off. We like, oh man, but you see, we still ain't sweating because we know that when you trying to do something positive, it's gonna be positive. You feel me? Positive, plus positive. So we don't let none of that, affect us. If anything, y'all keep tuning in because we gonna keep bringing the news that you can use. And I promise you, it's nothing that's gonna blow your fuse. You know what I'm saying? So if any of them can do it, we can do it. But yeah, one thing about it is we bringing the real issues of our community.
Absolutely.
This stuff really affecting our community. People's sons is going crazy, if that's what you really want to call it. I hate to call it that because is it going crazy?
Something's going on.
You feel me?
I look at it like this, right? And we was talking about the Hennessy.
Yeah.
Which is why I am extremely reluctant to purchase anything that is advertised by a black person.
Ooh.
And that's simply because if there's being advertised by a black person, they're targeting a black market.
Right.
And if they're targeting a black market, the key term or the key word in that phrase is targeted.
Yeah.
So I don't want to use it because I don't know what chemicals they're going to put in that, because I already know that they're trying to do away with the black species.
Right.
So if it's being targeted to a black market, then there's no telling what's really in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're willing to pay whatever entertainer or actor or artist, whatever the case is, a nice sum of money.
Yeah.
For the black market to run and get it.
Let me tell y'all something. like the one brother said, let me tell y'all something. The same people that make Patron make hair products.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Do your homework on that.
So, like I said, man, I mean, as much as I love supporting us, because I'm pro us all day long.
Yeah.
I am extremely reluctant because I know that the powers that be, the head honchos, because ain't too many black, hair labs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If granted, what is it? Bronner Brothers.
Yeah.
And what's the Madam CJ Walker? I don't even know if her lab's still around.
Man, shout out to her, man. That's a story we're gonna touch on too.
But and I know it was one sister who did the main stuff, but I think they bought her out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so there's not too many of us that actually have labs that's putting hair gel and hair grease and black hair care products and all that kind of stuff, which is why I'm glad to see so many people going natural.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
And then turn around and making some alcohol with it.
Right. And so I'm extremely reluctant. I hate to keep beating the dead horse, but it's just something about I'm already I'm black, so I don't trust easy anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And then I want to say we didn't have so many things. I don't even know what to do nowadays. But I also want to say we need to start listening to these so-called quote unquote crazy people. You feel me? Because you might learn something from these people. You know what I'm saying? These are God gifted individuals that may have just been gifted a touch too much and they can't really understand what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? They some of the most sweet people that I know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? Because they know that they is, you know what I'm saying, in a situation where they can't even think properly. They know they having some issues, man. You know what I'm saying? So we got to wrap around that, man. I don't want to see nobody. I'm telling you right now, man, on some real Harriet Tubman stuff. I don't want to see nobody stepping over no black people, stepping over nobody that's homeless, laying on the curb. Man, y'all better throw them $100. Y'all better throw them $50. I don't care what nobody say. Don't you know somebody came to me the other day and said, why are you giving him money? Are you serious? You know, I had to really catch myself because I'm like, man, how much, you know, I want to be like, you know what I mean? You are one selfish individual. You know what I'm saying? But the Bible did say, you know, it's gonna be harder than threading a needle. You know what I'm saying? Finding a needle in a haystack or threading the eye of a needle, or I gotta get back in my Bible. But it definitely was one of them for these.
For having to go through the eye.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
for these selfish individuals to see people out here hurting while you go lay on your Tommy Hilfiger, you know what I'm saying, me a bedroom set, and it ain't just one culture. Black folks, if I see y'all out there passing these homeless black people, you know what I'm saying, not helping them out, we got an issue. We got a real problem because we got to fix our own community.
Well, if you're willing to throw away your brother and your sister, or you know your kids, or whatever the case is, of course you're going to step over the next brother that's outside that you don't know. And that's the thought. That's the mindset of us as a culture.
It do get hard. I'm not even gonna say no devil advocate stuff, but when you dealing with a family member specifically that has a mental illness, they have something called family burnout. You know what I mean? You can really get burnt out with trying to battle, because I'm gonna put it like this: some of the people with mental illnesses, man, is combative. You know what I'm saying? They some of the things that they do makes no sense to us, but it makes all the sense to them. And you like, look, you can't do this. Like, you gotta do it like this. And they steady telling you, no, I like this, I like to do it. And you just like 10 years of that, you like, man, I don't care what they do at this point. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is what COVID has taught me. What is normal? You know what I'm saying?
True.
So what we think is normal, what we find to be right or correct or whatever the case is, who's not to say that we're the ones that's wrong?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though. That right there. Because if we took all these material things away and we just was ourselves, then who would really be valuable?
Right. And then of course, going back to the original, statements that we made earlier, when I talk about eroding the middle class and only having two, classes, poverty and the upper echelon.
Yeah.
So these people that we're stepping over, these people that we're passing by, these people that we're whatever the case is, we're some of us are going to be on that same wavelength. So it's on that same plateau. And so what happens if somebody steps over you? You know what I'm saying? And so now we have to go back into, biblical days or the laws of the land, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is, treat your brother how you would want to be treated.
How you want to be treated.
And
I think it's your neighbor.
Huh?
It's your neighbor.
Well, treat other people. Treat others.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And so, which is something that I try to live by.
Okay.
Treat people how I want to be treated.
Okay.
No matter what the situation is.
Right.
But we as a culture, as a society, and I'm not even going to talk about us as black people, but as a society, as an American society as a whole, we're so quick to just throw people away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, they say America loves a good comeback story,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of us, and I'm gonna say us because you know
Mhm.
a lot of us root against that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so once they get back on their feet, once they go, since we're here in Miami, once they go to the Camilla's house or to the Salvation Army,
Mm-hmm.
clean themselves up,
Mm-hmm.
get an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think those are the steps
Mhm.
of how they, you know what I'm saying? They go to Camilla's house, get cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Go to get an apartment.
Mhm.
Yeah, they, you know, being subsidized by the state or whatever, or the city or the state or whatever the case is. They get their own apartment. Then they start to get back on their feet. Now I'm cleaned up. I got my apartment. Now I have a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or I'm collecting my SSI or collecting
Right.
my, you know, disabilities or whatever
Right.
the case is. You know what I'm saying? So now here it is. I'm making more money monthly than you are,
Right.
you know, than the average Joe is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I was on the street and he was walking over me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now and now because you walked over me, stepped over me, you talked about me, you did all these things to me, I could have every right to do those same things to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, most of these people that have gone that step give because they've been down before.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And so yeah, so I know we went all the way around the whole subject of the topic for tonight, but yeah, so all I'm saying is, you know, treat people how you want to be treated, man, because the same people that you're gonna step over and step on your way up are the same people that you're gonna see when you're on your way down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also wanted to piggyback off one thing you said. You said SSI, and you know, I'm gonna touch on this real quick, because this is very important. You feel me? They tricked our community. They tricked our community into taking SSI. You know, that was a plan. They put that plan together. You know, it was a time period where I remember vaguely and clearly also that brothers was running around talking about, man, I'm finna get me a check. I'm finna go down there and play crazy. I'm finna go down there and play crazy and get me a check. They had a plan for us, for them. You know what I mean? So a lot of brothers went down there. You know, I know a lot of family members that went down there. You understand me? And said that was something wrong with them. Actually played like it was something wrong with them. Actually got diagnosed because they was down there acting like something was wrong with them, acting like they was mentally unstable, acting like they was having depression, acting like this and acting like that because other family members pushed them. You better go down there and get you a check. You better go down there and get you a check. You feel me? So they did that for $600 a month at that time, $600 a month, right? So
and once you start getting that check, you can't turn it. If you go back, then that's fraud, right? You got to pay all that money back.
Yeah, but not only that though, they had a plan, because attached with the $600 check was your social worker, the person that needed to check and make sure that you take your medicine. You feel me?
Take
So
the pills.
what type of illness do you got? Oh, you paranoid schizophrenic, or you depressed, or you have anxiety, or you this, or you that. Well, here, take these pills. And you better take these pills, or else we gonna cut your check off. And these people, individuals, all these people, a lot of people in my community took 1 or 2 pills, and that was all it took. It only took 1 or 2 pills. You know what I'm saying? It only took 1 or 2 pills of that dope, of that medicine, to flip your mind. Then you put some weed on top of that. You know what I'm saying? And some Hennessy.
Right.
And you gone.
Right.
Your mind is gone after that.
I can say that's what took me so long to, as a veteran, to go try to get my disability from VA, is because for the longest time I always thought that if I got a disability from the VA, I couldn't go work or do anything, from a to take care of myself. So that was a miss perception that I had, because I didn't know that the two entities didn't coexist with each other. Because I was always thinking about, what you just stated, from a civilian standpoint. If I go to, downtown to try to get SSI disability, I can't do anything. I have to let the state take care of it. But it's completely different from a veteran standpoint. And so I just wanted to throw that out there because maybe it's somebody out there who thought or think the same way that I thought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you got PTSD or if you got some type of disability from being in the Army, the Marines, Navy, Air Force, or whatever have you, go down there and get your money because they don't coexist with each other. So unless you go down there and get a disability that you can't work, that's the only way that they're going to coexist with each other. So you can still get your disability from the VA, and then in turn work, and then years down the road get your what's your not retirement, but whatever you get once you get 65 or whatever.
Yeah. And nowadays, and I just we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. Because we can go on, and we're gonna double back on this. But nowadays, what they do is, since they know that you don't want to take the pills, the pills ain't working. Now they developed a shot. These are scientists in labs that work with doctors, that work with the government, that have developed these shots that they put in your arm, intramuscular release shots they put in your arm, and it lasts for 30 to 60 days, right? So now you got all this medicine in your body for 30 to 60 days. Aristata, Invega, these are deadly poisons, right? And guess what? Once you put it in your body, you have to keep taking it.
Yeah, and then you see the commercial come on TV at nighttime and say, if you have taken
you have to keep taking it.
If you have taken whatever pill, what I'm saying, you might be due to compensation. But your life is exactly at this point, you've been taking that pill for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and now your whole body is dependent on that particular pill. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, they might throw you $100 here or a couple $100 there, but that ain't gonna help you in the long run.
And when they call it I can't even think of the term right now. But basically, when you stop taking the medicine, your body starts to eat away at your brain, because that's the way the medicine is programmed. So then that's where you see these brothers looking like zombies, because they got the shot one time, and the shot is now reversing the effects it had in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can tell there's something going on with the drugs and something going on with the alcohols, and and we say it's man, they had a rough life or whatever the case is, but you're starting to see people in their 20s and 30s who look way older, than we do in our 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you can tell that it's something going on, and it's not just going back to the young man who called in.
Yeah.
It's the foods.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the foods, it's the drugs, it's all of the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might be a little stress, but stress don't wear you out like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man. Yeah.
I want to touch on before we wrap it up.
And them hot Cheetos.
Them hot Cheetos. Ooh wee. And them Polishes and hog head cheese have you in depression, ready to hurt yourself. You know what I'm saying? Salami. You know what I mean? We don't eat salami no more. What is that hard stuff in salami? Those are pig toenails. I ain't even know that.
My little black thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. The gel. What do you think the gel is that hold the hog head cheese together? Why you they call it hog head cheese? That's brain matter.
Yeah.
That's the jelly in your brain, in the hog's brain. Do your research, people. We didn't know though. We was eating the salami like it was good.
That's because grandma,
man, my Uncle David, rest in peace to you. He'll make a fire bologna and egg sandwich.
Man, that
crazy.
Get you some saltine crackers, and
man,
some hot sauce.
Destroying your intestines, giving you all type of cancer.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? But okay, I want to touch on one more before we get out of here, because we didn't went on and on about that's how serious paranoid schizophrenia is in our community. You know what I'm saying? And we can go on and on about how the violence is paranoid. People be paranoid that somebody finna come get them. They end up killing somebody else. They ain't even thinking about them. But anyway, I want to touch on psychopaths for a second, because you know, a lot of these young killers out here that's doing these mass killings, these psychopaths really got their training and got their full understanding and got their plan together by playing video games.
Yes, I concur.
You feel me? Like they know exactly what guns to get because they've been playing Call of Duty. They've been playing the one game with the cars and stuff.
Grand Theft Auto.
You know what I'm saying? They've been playing. I seen some people playing these games before. I'm like, man, like you just jumping out, just knocking people off. I'm finna knock them and getting joy out of that, right? They've been playing these games since they was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yes.
Now they 22, now they 19. And it's more games than that. I don't play games, so you know what I'm saying? But now, you know, they know exactly like, okay, we got to go get the AR-15 with the 223 rounds, or we need to go get the 4.56. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, the 5.56. If I'm correct, I don't even be playing games like that. But you know what I'm saying? They is dealing with heavy artillery, right? So you look at somebody 19, you try to figure out, man, how did he know about all them crazy guns like that?
Right. They've been playing video games the whole time.
And
they've been so desensitized.
Man, they can see a body drop and not even, you know what I'm saying? Because they've been killing people, literally, they've been killing people on their screen for 10 years.
Well, I mean, you know, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, the first video game with a gun was Duck Hunt.
I don't know if that's true, but that's a fact. I mean, that's we had Duck Hunt, so yeah.
I think that was the very first Nintendo, because I don't think Atari had a gun. Matter of fact, I know Atari didn't have a gun.
You might be right.
So, but I don't remember too many games with that Nintendo other than Duck Hunt. Maybe one or two more that actually had games that you could literally shoot.
But the Duck Hunt, you was hunting.
Right. Matter of fact, it was another one. I think it was Track and Field or something where you had to shoot the plates. You know, when you got pull.
Yeah.
I
almost want to say that was on the same cartridge or something.
Yeah, later on, because I think later on they came out with the little double joint. But yeah, but I mean, other than that, but no, we didn't have, you know, when we was coming up, you know, the Sega Genesis didn't have a gun. You know, Nintendo had Duck Hunt, maybe, like I said, Track and Field. But you didn't get into the GTAs, the Grand Theft Auto,
yeah,
and the Call of Duties and all of these other shooting games until you got into like PlayStation 3.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, well, PlayStation 2.
PlayStation in general.
Right. And so, you know, but yeah, man, they have really, and not to mention, you know, yeah, you got video games, but you also got, you know, television. Because it seems like every show, every movie got some killing in it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then Law and Order been on TV for 40 years, seems like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, but yeah, desensitized like
man, they sit there and kill all day long.
Right. But you know, I don't blame them.
007.
I don't blame them.
Right.
Because our generation is the ones that actually started all of this.
We didn't start nothing.
Yeah, because you came out with the we was the ones that came out with the gangster rap, and then we was the ones that our generation. I'm not talking about us as a West Coast, but our generation.
Okay.
Came out with the gangster rap. We the one popularized the whole video game movement, because we was the ones that were going out getting all the video games, and then of course we was the ones that came out with the Boys in the Hoods and the Minister Societies and the Bellies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it was movies like The Godfathers and Scarface and all that kind of stuff before our time. But Black culture has always had a admiration for the Italians.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We always because think about everything, you know, I ain't gonna say everything, but think about the majority of things that we do. It's kind of mimicking what the Italians did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we had a fondness for all of that.
Okay.
We just took it a step further.
Yeah.
We took it, from a violent standpoint, we took it a step further.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they had more organized. We are more disorganized.
Right. Disorganized. We've got to get organized. Facts. Did you want to finish that point?
So I'm just saying, I can't. Yes, our kids. Yes, the younger generation. After us, the 30s, 20s, and so forth, and even the 40-year-olds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so our generation has really done it. Had an extreme detriment, and a lot of it was planned and organized and devised by the powers that be, but we was the suckers to take the bait.
Facts. Listen here, y'all. We're gonna wrap this thing up with some news you can use, some advice, because a lot of times you see on these podcasts, people, we talk about the issues, but we don't have no solution for the issues. You understand me? So I just want to, give y'all some solutions off top. You know what I'm saying? Number one, change your diet. You know what I'm saying? Your diet is electric, carbon based. You know what I'm saying? You are a carbon being. You feel me? You are from the stars. You know what I'm saying? You're from the black stuff. After you put the fire out, you see that black stuff? That's carbon, soot. That is where you're from. That's your base. That's who you are. The dirt. You understand me? So you cannot continuously eat these products. Man, listen here. And we gon' this I just want to say one thing, and this ain't even got nothing to do with this, but you know what I'm saying? I thought I was doing something special by eating veggie burgers, right? Because I done moved over to the vegetarian side with pescatarian / vegetarian.
You talking about the impossible meat or
the impossible meat,
the soy meat?
You know what I'm saying?
Number soy.
But see here, check this out. They got something called methylcellulose, right? Methylcellulose. I was looking on the back of it. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, and my moms and stuff, and my people out there, they can't stand the smell. I be in the crib cooking one up. They be like, you know what I'm saying? That stink. I was like, whoa. Methylcellulose, man, is paper. Methylcellulose is what they make paper that you write on with.
So that's the McDonald's fries.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's paper.
No, that's what McDonald's fries is.
Methylcellulose.
Look at I'm
gonna have to do more research on that.
Think about it.
I know they put it in the beef fat to give it flavor.
It is McDonald's fries.
Okay.
Drop a fry in your car.
It's still gonna be there. Facts.
Put a fry on your windowsill.
That's where they use the sodium glutamate to keep it from spoiling. You see what I'm saying? But that we gonna get into the diet thing. We're gonna get into that. And I don't want to get off the subject too far. But the veggie burgers is made out of wood, paper, methylcellulose. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
With a binding agent. And so that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna even get into that right now. We gonna talk. We got a whole podcast coming up on just nasty things that they put in the food that's killing folks.
Go ahead.
Stop smoking that dirty weed. You know what I'm saying? The street drugs, the street weed, even the dispensaries, man, they have a plan for y'all. Why you think some states ain't legalized weed? Because they still want to get brothers locked up. Let's keep it all the way truthful.
Florida.
But, you know what I'm saying? But at the North Carolina, Wisconsin, but at the same time, you know, the science behind it is, man, they in there doctoring on this marijuana. They got K2, you know what I'm saying, that can get you out of there, man. They have, you know what I'm saying, they had the spice a little while ago that
was driving folks crazy.
Man, it still is. Who say they don't still spray it with the spice?
I don't know too many people that do spice anymore.
You don't know you're doing spice.
Gotcha.
Why would they tell you?
Gotcha.
If you going to get the
synthetic.
you know what I'm saying? You going to get the what the fake stuff is?
Synthetic.
No, that new stuff they got.
I don't dabble in the drug community. So
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So you know, and if you sniff it, you can't unsniff it. You dig? Understand that. If you swallow it, if you pop it, you can't unpop it. You know that what the drug is? The one thing that's getting people out of here. Fentanyl.
Oh yeah.
If the fentanyl get hold to you, out of here. You think they ain't putting bags and bags and bags of fentanyl in the black community? You think they ain't putting it in the black community?
They just caught somebody trying to bring some fentanyl in here. What a couple weeks ago?
Man, you think they ain't putting it in? You think they ain't shipping it right on up there and putting it out there? And then got your favorite cartoon character on there. Guess what? When you pop it, you could be out of there.
Listen, man. Again, going back to what I said earlier, if a black person endorses it, I don't want it. And then I'll think about it from this perspective. And I know we gotta go. You're killing off the blacks with all this, you know, as Eddie Murphy said in Raw, flooring filth, right? And then you just did the whole abortion thing, so that
you about to say something,
so that they can repopulate their community. Because we are at each other's throat, so we ain't having babies like that no more. Because we at each other's throat. Women don't want men, and men don't want women. You know?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So we didn't turn you guys against each other. We didn't put men now are wanting other men, and women now are wanting a dildo or another woman. And we're finna go ahead and start repopulating our community because we're actually, you know, because they are actually becoming the minority. So they got to repopulate to try to regain strength in numbers. But everybody up in the chaos and an uproar because of what they're watching on television, but they're not seeing the game behind, you know what I'm saying? They're not seeing the coaches. They're playing chess, not checkers.
Not checkers. Hey, y'all better get some chess lessons. I want to say, you know, thank y'all for tuning in, and thank y'all for watching this. After y'all tune in, listen here. If you gonna support something that's gonna help you. That's gonna help you to the next level. You know what I'm saying? Get with the program. You feel me? We're gonna drop the science on you. We're gonna have more science next week, because next week we talking about child support. Is it killing men?
Hey man, what's your status?
You know what I'm saying? What's the status of that? You know what I'm saying? Child support is killing folks. You know, and they putting it in the black woman's hands to be able to depict if you're gonna be successful or not. Because it's 10 times harder to be successful when you got that big balance over your head.
Absolutely.
They want to take your license, then they want to put you in jail for 6 months or better.
Got a story about that?
Man, listen, we're going to touch on that child support next week. So if y'all know somebody out there that's dealing with this child support, you know, y'all know somebody out there that don't want to let they people off child support. You know what I'm saying? We going to get into that, man. We going to get into that.
Yeah, man. That's a subject and a half right there.
We going to get into that.
And notice nobody, no politician, nobody is doing anything about it.
Because it's only affecting one group.
Yeah.
Because most of other races either is married. If you marry, you don't have to pay child support.
No.
But people then offed and whacked women because of child support, and ain't even no laughing matters. There's some folks out here got killed because of child support. It's some men that took their life. It's some brothers, since we talking about mental illness, it's some brothers out there that went crazy, that lost their mind because of child support. Because they was working hard and they check was $800 every 2 weeks, and they had to pay $600 on child support.
And then they didn't get no stimulus check.
You feel me?
Yeah, man.
They ain't got no license. They took the license. They can't even sell their car.
They can't sell their car. They can't sell. If they had a license to be a barber, they can't cut hair.
They can't even get a license to do nothing. Can't do real estate. Can't do nothing.
And can't get no passport to get up out of
Can't get a passport. You ain't going nowhere. Boy,
Just
we
stuck.
is we gonna talk about child support next week or what?
Yes, sir.
Hey, we want to thank all of y'all. We had some technical difficulties tonight, but we gonna get it together. We got some more equipment we need to buy. You know what I'm saying? So if you seeing this later on in the week, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and shoot 10 or something, 20 or 100. You know what I'm saying? But you really ain't got to shoot nothing because we're going to make it. I promise you that. We already got plenty of equipment. But you know what I'm saying? If you're going to be, you know what I mean, throwing something because somebody on there acting a fool or somebody on there, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever they do, throw something to a good cause because we're going to make it. We need to get some guests on this thing. You know what I'm saying? And everybody ain't free, but we're going to get some guests that's worth it. You know what I'm saying? And like they say, if we got to finesse, we're going to finesse. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get them on here. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all need to hear from them. Y'all need to hear about things. We need to address some money issues in our community. It's a lot of things that we need to address, and we're going to address it right here on The Status, man. Watch our growth. Watch how we rise from this situation right now into where we need to be. You understand me? Please believe that. That's happening. This is real life. So, you know, whatever technical difficulty we having right now, just bear with us. Just bear with us because we're going to get it together. We're going to get it right. Trust me.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Man, this is the second podcast of The Status. We're going to get us one of those little neon little signs to put here on the table. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get some stuff so our camera can work the whole 2-3 hours. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, we had the bag up camera tonight because if we didn't, boy, it'd be real salty around here. We'll be doing a podcast you listen to with your earphones.
Absolutely. Hey, as long as they get the message.
Hey, mental illness is real. I just want to sign out by saying, you know what I'm saying? When you see them brothers on the street, get them brothers a blessing. You know what I'm saying? We see them sisters, get them sisters. And you sisters, get off the internet. Everything y'all do don't have to be no picture. It's a mental illness. It's a sociopath that need to take a picture every 5 minutes. You better believe that. That's a condition. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't used to do that. You know what I'm saying? Tend to your situations. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, hey, stop, put the weed down. They is mixing it up. They know what they doing. They gonna have y'all out of there. You know what I'm saying? They gonna have y'all out of there. You know what I'm saying? Think about the repercussions. When you roll the blunt up on the front of the backwood pouch, it say may cause cancer. You think that's a joke?
They don't care.
You think that's funny? They predicting. That's why they keep on building more and more cancer centers. Because they know they already got a plan. They know in like 10 years, it's going to be so many black people with lung cancer, it ain't going to even be funny.
They still smoking rat piss, man. They still smoking Newport.
Man.
So they definitely going to still smoke the backwoods. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know, I just want everybody to open their minds, man. Because once you open your mind, think about this, you know, once your brain expands, it can't go back to its original size.
Can't retract. Yeah.
And so just get some knowledge, man. Read some books, you know, listen to your favorite guy on the podcast or you know, get you some visual stimuli.
Yeah.
Get you some knowledge from somewhere.
Yeah, and most importantly, I know this ain't the best live, but we talked about the real best. We talked about the best issue that need to be, you know what I'm saying, talked about. Go ahead and share this live, man. Let people know what we doing. Don't be afraid. Don't be biased. If we would have some crates right here and we was walking up the crate and I fell over, you'll be quick to push share. Huh? If we had some old girl right here that was half dressed, that's what y'all really want, right? They want to have, we got a half naked girl right here, you know what I'm saying, with her breasts out, then they'll hurry up and get on lock. They'll hurry up and get on it.
Well, people, what I've learned, and again, I said this earlier, people don't like to look in the mirror. They like to look out the window.
Out the window.
You know what I'm saying? Because people don't want to, you know, life is hard.
Yeah. And
they don't want to be talked at. They want to be
entertained.
But this is not an entertainment. Yes, this is entertainment, but this is going to be some real factual, you know, conversations. And all that's all this is. It's a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Between me, you, and the people.
And
you know
people.
What I'm saying? And so, you know, that's what I want. That's what I want people to get out of this. You know, just you know, this is just, you know, You know how you sit in the barbershop and
Yeah.
you have those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time you in the barbershop is about sports or whatever the case
Yeah.
is. But this is you and Uncle, this is Uncle, Uncle Sean,
Yeah.
Uncle James,
Yeah.
sitting at the house. We ain't blunted up or drinking nothing,
Yeah.
but we having the real. This is a real man conversation. This is a grown up conversation right here.
Yeah, and it's anointed, most importantly. So I know it's going in these 2.4 megahertz gonna touch your spirit in some type of way that you don't know. So if you can, when you see this, and I ain't gonna beg you, because we're gonna rise regardless. We just gotta stay consistent, and we keep doing it every week. And you watch how I rise, and you more welcome to come later if you ain't coming now. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna sign off. Like I said, we have some technical difficulties, but we're gonna get it together for next week. I promise you that. And next week we talking about child support. Is it killing folks? Is it killing men? I want you to think about that. I want y'all to call in. Y'all see the number, call in. Carlos, look him up. Carlos Smith Moving Company. Smith's Moving Company. He do moving all over the country. That's a good brother.
You're moving on up.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody out there. We out. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one. Hey, put that marijuana down, that dirty marijuana. You know what I'm saying? And stop drinking that Hennessy, for real. We out.